Today's PC build is hands down one of the most powerful deals that I have ever come across while building budget gaming PCs. But at the same time, this is probably one of the riskiest builds that we've put together so far. Now, before I get into what I mean by that, let's go over today's project, and then I can tell you the crazy price that the seller of this thing let this thing go for. So inside of this Thermaltake case right here, we have a B650M-A Wi-Fi motherboard. We have 32 gigs of crucial DDR5 memory, a 1 terabyte NVMe, a 2 terabyte HDD, a large deep cool CPU cooler, and everybody's favorite 750 watt power supply, and a Ryzen 5 7600X CPU. The only thing missing to make this computer a powerhouse gaming PC is a graphics card. And the seller for this little beast right here let all of that go for $450. Now, I'm not saying that $450 is some really small amount of money. $450 is still expensive, but seeing as how the retail value of all of the items in here is closer to $800, I'd say we have a very good start to an extremely strong PC at a very affordable price tag. And what's even stranger to me is that there's almost no dust inside of this system. So that leads me to believe the seller when he told me that he only used this computer 5 times. What? Now, the reason that I say this computer is a little risky is because simply adding a graphics card into this system is going to make the sale price for this computer pretty high. And once you start getting up into the high dollar amounts when you're trying to sell something on Facebook Marketplace, you decrease the amount of people who are willing to take a look at that computer. So it's always a little risky when you decide to sell a computer for like $1,000+. Now, I have definitely sold computers that were extremely expensive on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm gonna tell you right now that in order to capture those sales, I needed to make sure that the computer that I was selling looked like it was worth $1,000. And let's be honest, this computer right here, while yes, it is an extremely powerful, very current system, it's not winning any beauty competitions. But that's why I have it, so that we can turn this thing into a jaw-dropping gaming PC that somebody is going to want to pay $1,000+ for. Now, before I go ahead and I show you the graphics card that we are going to be putting inside of this system and the brand new look that this computer will have, I do need to go ahead and take this whole thing apart so that I can double check to make sure that everything is 100% clean, because I do not sell dirt to anybody. So let's go ahead and get that started, because I am so excited to show you what this thing is going to look like. So I know our seller said that he had only turned this thing on 5 times, but based off of the amount of dust that was on the CPU cooler here, let's say 15 times. But either way, this was a pretty clean system. It didn't take long at all to make sure everything was 100% perfect. Now, in order to capture as much money as we possibly can when we do list this computer for sale, we do need to make a few changes. And the first change that we are going to be making is we are going to be getting rid of this CPU cooler right here. Now, it's not because it's a deep cool CPU cooler, because if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know that I have a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to deep cool, and it's not because of the quality of their products, it's because of the customer service that I received when there was an issue with a CPU cooler that I bought from them in the past. But because this is an AM5 system, I wanted to go liquid cooling rather than a tower cooler. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put this cooler aside and we'll use it in another build. He did give me all of the mounting brackets for this, so I can use it in any other build that I do decide that this would look good in. So we're gonna save this and we're going to put this to the side because it's not going in our final system. Now, if you remember in episode 1, I had bought a computer, I believe I bought it for like $200, and along with the computer, he gave me a 240 millimeter ID cooling AIO. Now, we're going to be using this cooler inside of this system just because I think it's gonna look way better, and I definitely think it's gonna help us capture more money when we do list this thing for sale. Now, the second thing that we are going to be going to change is we're going to be getting rid of these black fans here. Now, there's nothing wrong with these fans other than the fact that it's a Thermaltake fan and then some Corsair fans here, but they're pretty boring. They're just basic black PWM fans. So what we're going to do is we're not going to use those. I'm going to put them in my massive stack of fans that I haven't used, and we're going to switch it up. We are going to be using these Thermaltake fans. I know that if you've been watching me at all, you know that I use a lot of these fans, and that's because these are a great value to get a fantastic look for your computer. So I bought 6 of these. We're gonna throw them in here. I think that they're gonna help make this computer stand out a little bit more so that we get more money. Now, just like with most builds that we put together on the channel, I am going to be adding cable extensions to the system. Cable extensions are an extremely inexpensive way to help your computer stand out. It gives the appearance that your cable management is very, very good. And based off of whatever color you choose, it can definitely help your computer stand out in a long line of other people selling computers on Facebook Marketplace. So those are definitely going into our system. Now, the last thing that we are going to be adding into our system is our graphics card. Now, this is an AM5 CPU system with DDR5 memory. It's a current generation system, and this is the first time that we have tried to flip a current generation system. So I was torn on what graphics card I should have been looking for. Now, I was looking at 3070s, and you know, I was thinking a 3070 would be a great fit, and I still do think that a 3070 would fit this system really well. But because it is a current generation system, I did want to get a current generation graphics card, but I wanted to do that without breaking the bank. So what we have got right here is a 4060. Now, I think a 4060 inside of this system, just the fact that it is a 4060, I believe will help us sell this computer for a high amount of money, and that is the goal here on the Build Up Challenge, is to make money so that we can build an ultra computer for our grand finale. So I definitely think that this was a wise investment. It is a brand new graphics card, and I believe the retail cost of this was only $320. So it's not a super expensive graphics card, but it's also not an inexpensive graphics card. But I definitely think that it is going to help this build. So now that you've seen everything that is going inside of this system, we do need to put it together, because I am very excited to see how well this system performs in some very demanding games. So let's get to it. This thing right here is awesome, and the performance from this system is exactly what I was hoping that it would be. And not only is the performance really, really great, I think the design of this thing turned out wonderful. Definitely leagues better than what this PC looked like when I first got it. Now, if I was going to nitpick this build a little bit, I would say that I'm not the biggest fan of how low the GPU sits inside of this case. Now, the fans that I added to the bottom of the case definitely enhance the appearance of the card being really low. So if I had to redo the build, I probably wouldn't have added those two fans in there, as they're not really providing a whole lot of functionality to the system, even though they do bring a little bit more airflow up into the graphics card. The only other thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the direction of the tubing on the AIO. Usually I will flip the AIO and have the tubing running from the front towards the CPU cooler. But the reason I didn't do that is because with the ID cooling AIO, you can't rotate the pump head, so the logo would have ended up being upside down, which isn't the end of the world, but I figured we would just install this thing so that the logo was the right way up. Now, as far as the gameplay from this system right here, I was having an absolute blast playing on this system because in Modern Warfare 2, we were able to capture an average of 109 FPS at max settings. When I jumped into God of War at Ultra preset, this system was getting a beautiful 84 FPS. In Gotham Knights, at a max preset, we're getting an average of 99 FPS and the gameplay was super smooth. In Hogwarts Legacy, we were getting a stunning 74 FPS at ultra settings. And for one last game on the list, I tested Battlefield 2042, also at a max preset, and this beast was getting 98 FPS on average. Now, hopefully we will be able to get a decent amount of money for this system, because on this series, we build and sell these budget gaming PCs so that we can save up those profits and build a top tier computer. And in this season of the Build Up Challenge, we are saving up to build an editing PC that is going to be hopefully unlike anything that you've ever seen on YouTube before. So now we need to go over where we stand in funds to build that PC. So at the end of last week's episode, we had a total of $1,112 in our bank to build our grand finale computer. And this computer right here cost me $863 to put together, which is a fantastic value for what's inside of this system. Now, after we subtract the total amount of money that it cost us to build this computer from our grand total, we are left with only $249. But we did have one computer that was still selling on Facebook Marketplace, and that computer did sell. Now, I wanted to get $320 for that system, and I was not able to capture that amount of money for it, but I was able to get $280, which made us around $80 for that build, which isn't bad. And that's gonna bring our new grand total back up to $529, and we still have to sell this computer right here. And I'm going to list this system for $1,200, and I'm gonna hope that I get $1,100 for it. So if we can get the $1,100 that I wanna get for this system, then that would bring our grand total to $1,629. And you guys also have to keep in mind that once we get closer to our profit goal here, I'm going to go ahead and list my personal computer as well. And I'm hopeful that I can get around $1,400 for my personal system. And if we do end up getting $1,400 for that system, that would bring our grand total to $3,029, which is pretty darn close to the amount of money that I'm gonna need in order to build our grand finale computer. So I don't think it's gonna be very long before we can start ordering those parts, and I can show you just how cool this build's gonna be. Now, I did want to take this opportunity to invite any new viewers to join the PC Rehab Discord server. If you're a PC enthusiast, or you flip PCs, or you're thinking about starting to flip PCs for profit, then that Discord is a fantastic resource for you, and we would love to see you there. But even if you don't want to join the Discord. I do hope that no matter where you are in the world, you are having a fantastic day. And I'm gonna see you right here, the next episode.